Stephen A., are you more concerned about the Bucs or the Chiefs getting back to the Super Bowl?
I'm concerned about the Bucs right now. When I look at the NFC and I see that bad man coming over the last 2 weeks, and I see Matthew Stafford, and I see, San Francisco with Jimmy G holding off Trey Lance, all right? And I see Arizona on the come up, and I know Russell Wilson is still lurking around, okay? And then also I look at, you know what? Damn. The Cowboys, they are in the conference. I have to pay attention to them. Even though I ain't really worried about them. Even though I'm not really worried about them. But I got to put it up in there.
No, the offense isn't playing well. The defense is playing a lot better.
All I'm trying to say is that I'm looking at the NFC, and I'm like, wait a minute now. That combined with how suspect Tampa Bay's defense has looked, remember, as great as their offense is, where they really went on a roll last year is when the defense finally amped it up the last 8 weeks of the season or so. And that doesn't look like the case right now. So I am somewhat concerned, and I would say the Bucs at this particular moment in time.
Yeah, Stephen A., I understand all them points. I'm concerned about the Chiefs, man. Listen, first of all, their division alone is really, really good for them to get out, and they just dropped one to the Chargers. And I can't believe I'm sitting here saying this. The Chiefs should be 0-3 right now. Yeah. And think about that for a second. They should be 0-3. And you mentioned the great teams in the NFC, obviously, but the Chiefs have lost in their division to the Chargers. The Broncos look really good, even though they hadn't played anybody. We'll find out this weekend when they play. And then you got the Las Vegas Raiders, who I think is as good as any team in their division as well, because they beat the Chiefs last year. The Chiefs' road is tough, man. And then everybody is shooting for them. I don't even have the Tampa Bay Bucs going back to the Super Bowl. I got the Rams going to the Super Bowl even before the season started, and they continuing to confirm that about how they playing. But when I look at this AFC between Buffalo, between the Chiefs division, and you look at the Browns, obviously a team that can beat anybody in the NFL, and the way the Chiefs are playing, and yes, it should give you pause because it is Patrick Mahomes, and it is Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. But defensively, that team has some issues. And when you look at offensively, if they don't hurry up and get it fixed, and with the gap that's been closed and the moves that teams have made not in their own division, let alone the AFC in totality in their own division, I'm nervous about where the Chiefs are right now because I don't think they have identified, they can fix their flaws. They can get things fixed on their end. But these other teams have made strong headway in closing that gap. And the fact that they've already lost one divisional game, it makes me very, very nervous about if they really are identifying that these teams in the AFC are a lot closer than the Chiefs think. Doesn't mean I don't think the Chiefs can go to the Super Bowl. I got them picked out of the AFC to go. But right now, my concern with the Chiefs is they have not accepted that these teams in the AFC have watched them do what they've done for the past 3 years with all of the success. And every team that we talk about, Buffalo, the Cleveland Browns, we talk about the Chargers, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Denver Broncos in their division. When you look at those teams, they've made headway against the Kansas City Chiefs, and those are all teams that they're going to have to face if they're going to get back to a Super Bowl. I'm concerned about the Chiefs right now.
Okay.
All right, we'll keep it rolling here, guys. Dak Prescott hasn't skipped a beat since coming back from the season-ending ankle injury. The Dallas star continues to put up big numbers, and now he has his team atop the NFC East. We get enamored with Mahomes and Herbert because of their insane physical skills. However, no one is playing the position better than Dak, is currently poised, controlled, decision-making, accuracy, and to think that someone thought he just wasn't that dude. Marcus, tell me this. Is Dak playing like the best quarterback in the NFL?
He's up there, Molly, but I got Matt Stafford playing as the best right now when it comes between him and Dak in the NFC. I think Derek Carr is playing better quarterback than everybody right now. But between Dak and the comparison that I'm making is a guy that I think he's going to have to beat or try to beat in order to get to a Super Bowl, let alone Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey being on the other side. Matt Stafford has a little bit more at his disposal in totality. And then, too, you look at the weapons and what Matt Stafford has done. It was very impressive. And remember, Dak lost to Tampa. Matt Stafford just beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And granted, albeit the secondary banged up, the secondary didn't have a full boat when they played the Dallas Cowboys. Matt Stafford torched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Dak didn't. So I'm giving Matt Stafford. We start talking about playing the best now between those.
All right, listen to the congregation.
So far through 3 weeks, they can
Here's the
only
deal, man.
choose one. Don't go anywhere.
Didn't I say at the beginning of this show that Matthew Stafford was like my MVP right now? The way he looking, did I say that? Wasn't that me?
Yeah.
All right. So with all of that bloviating you just did, all those superlatives you threw out there, all those complimentary nuggets that you threw out there and all of that stuff, right? You still think Matthew Stafford comes in second place to Derek Carr right now in an MVP vote?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're
Stephen
wrong,
A.
What?
Stephen A. When I talk, the one thing you know about me and the one thing you taught me, you know I ain't lying when I say something. My opinion don't flip-flop based on the questions.
Back to the NFL. Coming into the season, the odds favor a Super Bowl rematch between the Bucs and the Chiefs.
I might not be right about a lot of things at the end of the season. I'm right now, damn it.
You know what? I want you and Damian Woody up here because y'all be talking when I'm talking. You trying to use that as a strategy, thinking you scaring somebody, right? I ain't scared of y'all. Let's understand that right now.
I know you ain't.
And oh, by the way, we don't need Matthew Stafford to go all the way to the Super Bowl because we're going to be there anyway. So far, it's fly. And we're going to be there.
I'm going to be there, too.
We're going to be there. Whether he there or not, we're going to be there, okay? Now, having said all of that, Dak is playing well. I get all of that, but I will remind y'all, he didn't look that good against the Chargers. He didn't look that great against the Chargers. He showed up on that last winning drive. I think he was 5 for 5 in that game winning drive and what have you. But he didn't look good throughout the game. We have to remember that, okay? He damn sure looked good against Tampa, okay? And he looked good last week against the Eagles, which ain't nothing to brag home about, okay? Because the Eagles ain't themselves yet. We hope they're going to be all right. But listen, we saw them beat Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I know Atlanta beat your Giants. Condolences to you, by the way.
Yeah.
But the point is,
So
at the end of the day, I mean, so what? Okay, Dak Prescott, we will see. We will see.
Yeah.
Defense
Molly,
looking
okay?
real good. Defense looking real good. Most takeaways in the league. Can't believe I have to big up the Cowboys as a Giants fan just because Stephen A's annoying.
Well,
Manny
you got to tell the
Pacquiao
truth.
Is calling it quits. The only 8-division champion in boxing history. He will be best remembered for his 2015 fight with Floyd Mayweather that shattered revenue records. A meteoric rise during the 2000s highlighted by spectacular knockouts of notable fighters, no matter how high he climbed in weight. Stephen A., your thoughts on Manny Pacquiao's retirement?
One of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. Never ran from anybody. Had completely respected the sport of boxing. Was an ultimate champion. And I have to tell you, one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet on the planet Earth. I mean, when people, I want to just say this real quick because I know we got to go because we got one more thing to discuss, Marcus.
Yeah.
When people talk about Manny Pacquiao and they say stuff like, well, he's fighting for money. I would like y'all to know that there are people who line up in the streets of the Philippines just to come get some money from him. He's very charitable.
Oh, yeah.
That's why money was compromising, because he's a giver. He's a special dude. I'm going to miss him.
Absolutely. All right, one more thing I want to get to. Our very own Malika Andrews tweeting this, by the way, NBA reporter, and she's going to be hosting a new show, NFL Live. Looking forward to that. NBA Live, starting mid-October. So we are excited about that.
Very proud of her.
Yes. So Malika tweeting this. Any player who elects not to comply with local vaccination mandates will not be paid for games that he misses. Stephen A., explain to people what this means.
Well, what this means is simple. If there's a mandate in New York, like there is in New York City, for example, and Kyrie Irving doesn't get vaccinated, and therefore he can't play in New York City, he doesn't get paid. The NBA gets to say you don't get paid. Kyrie Irving is scheduled to make $35 million a season. Per game, he would make $412,396 and change. That is what he will be docked for any game he misses.
Can you imagine making that in a J? That is unbelievable,
20
Marcus.
per game. Per game. That's what he will miss if he can't play because he's not vaccinated.
It's what we talked about. For $500,000, I'm going to get the shot. But here's the point. When you think about what we talked about earlier with this vaccination, you have a choice to make. The choice is your freedom. We live in a country where you can decide to make a choice. It's consequences.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Again, I botched it. It's NBA Today, Malika's new show that we're looking forward to.
Congrats
NBA
to Malika.
Today. Congrats to her. There is also an NFL Live.
Yes.
In case people didn't know, Marcus is on that. That's at 4 Eastern.
That's right.
NBA Today is a
Yeah, I'll be watching.
You better be. You better be.
Hey, you watch your mouth.
We got Malika's conversation with James Harden on this show. This show is SportsCenter. This is Matt Barry. I'm David Lloyd. Let's do this.
Yeah, we say it each and every week. Wednesday is the busiest day of the NFL work week. Why is that, David Lloyd?
Because people are talking.
Well, they've got Tuesday off. They return to work Wednesday. Not only are people talking, the quarterbacks are talking, and we've got so many to bring you here on SportsCenter. Have a look at my quarterback menu of everyone we're going to hear from. Don't walk in front of the camera, David Lloyd. Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Kyler Murray. They are all speaking to the media during our 2-hour window. You will hear from them as we begin SportsCenter.
This is SportsCenter.
The reunion is almost here. We go live to Foxborough to hear Belichick's message about Brady. Plus, Gronk speaks ahead of his return. Alabama versus Ole Miss, a huge test for the Rebels. Desmond Howard will tell you how Kiffin can get an edge on Saban. James Harden's back, better than ever. What's Brooklyn's biggest difference?